Hey guys, here we are, out in my backyard. You hear that? This is beautiful. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. I wanted to get this video done a little earlier, but the weather has just been, it's been crazy. But guess what? It is the perfect day to get outside and take a better look at the performance of the Gerber Doubledown, which I gotta tell you, I was surprised at the mixed reviews that we got looking at this guy right here. I wasn't entirely sure how everybody was gonna respond to it, but I thought it was gonna slant more one way or the other. I didn't think it was gonna be so split, you know what I mean? So we've got a lot of you guys who think that this thing is cool and a great tool and is gonna perform. And we got a lot of you out there that think this is gimmicky and that this is not well designed and it's just not gonna be the right tool for the job. So today we're gonna put it through its paces out here in the woods. Nothing crazy, okay? We're not trying to destroy this. We wanna see how it actually works. And so me and Tato are out here, just wandering around out back behind the house. And we are going to put it through some tests. Some real life kind of stuff. Things that it might do somewhere out in the world. Maybe a couple things that are a little unrealistic, but the point is we want to see what it actually does. So as we go through this, I'm going to play some of my favorite tunes, which you can't hear because of YouTube copyright problems. You'll notice I'm old school, right? No Bluetooth, nothing fancy. Why? Because did you want Skynet? Because that's how you get Skynet. But trust me, I'm going to have a great old time doing this. So being safety conscious and trying to demonstrate good behavior to all the boys and girls and llamas and everything. I made myself remember we had this blue cord. I know it doesn't match very well. Sorry, my fashion sense is lacking. But so, made myself a little lanyard, and you know what? We're not gonna use anything fancier than a regular old leather work glove, right? We're gonna do this true camping style. So, to review, in case you missed the original unboxing on this and a little review, the Gerber Doubledown is what Gerber calls a folding machete. It looks like a butterfly machete. It's not really a butterfly machete. So it's designed to look cool, but it locks every step of the way. So we've got our lock here to hold it closed, and that opens up easy enough. And so it's locked. You can't just flip it. Now, we've debated whether or not you could take these locks out, and I don't know. Where did that dog get off to? All right, I see him moving around out there. So we've got these two double locks. You hold and open. It's got a half lock there, whether you're opening or closing it. And then it opens to the full machete. Now, it closes, it locks. It's not the easiest thing to lock or unlock in the open position. Gotta be honest. You need some hand strength. It's a lot easier to lock than it is to unlock. But once it's locked, you've got a pretty firm handle, right? I'm not thrilled about the construction where you've got these gaps here. With the glove on, I suppose you won't feel it very well. Everything travels on these gears. Now, how will those affect, the feel and the usability? I don't know. My concern using this is that there's nothing to absorb shock. Now, we have heard some comments where people say that the locks might absorb some of the shock when you're actually chopping. I don't know. A lot of machetes have handles that have a softer material to absorb some of that shock, so it's not going from blade all the way down through handle up into your wrist and your arm. And that is a consideration when using something like this. But they also say, Gerber say, that this not only is a machete, and it's a bit short for a machete, let's be real, that choking up on the handle here lets you use this as a knife, like a regular old bushcrafting field kind of knife as well. And in the original unboxing, we saw that it does come very sharp, and you can do some work with it. This right here, this jimping, is for batoning specifically, to give you grip for batoning. So some interesting features on this thing. But how does it actually perform? We're gonna find out. So let me get set up. Let me get my glove on. And as our first test, hello Tato boy. You just having a good time wandering around in the woods? This may be a little bit unrealistic as a test, because I don't know if you'll be doing this a lot off in the woods. But So this is what, about an inch right here. And this is a particularly, I think it's an oak variant. I'm not sure. We have a lot of oaks out here, but I could be totally wrong because it's not like I know my trees just from sight. Tato, that is a terrible place for you to sit. That is awful. Tato, come here, come here. Come here. Nope. Keep walking. Keep walking. No. Okay. So we're going to start the test here just by doing some whacking to get through this. And this is, you know, like I said, not 100% realistic towards what you might do with a machete, but we also want to test this thing and see what it's going to do for us. So let's start testing and see what it'll do for us. It's already, I don't like the grip I have on it in gloves at all, but trying to make sure I'm not going to smack the camera. Nope, I don't like the grip I get on this at all. My hand constantly wants to slip down with every hit, every chop. My hand wants to slip down on this. There's not a lot of grip to it. And I don't know if you saw that. My hand kept slipping down, which makes me just not feel like I've got good control. So it chopped through without a lot of, I won't say not a lot of physical effort, but you know, it felt awkward. It was coming out of my hand there. It was a lot more effort. I wasn't prepared to have to squeeze the handle that hard. And as you see, we ended up just bashing this tree. This is what we ended up with here. Now, if we were to use our knife blade, this is not a very stable cutting surface here, but it does still seem sharp enough for us. The sounds of World War II every weekend. Back there with a little tiny airstrip. We've still got sharp blade to do this kind of work. We can get real thin little slices off of it, but unless you're prepared to really hold on for dear life, that handle wants to slip down every time. And that is not what I'm looking for in a machete. And this lock isn't going anywhere, it's not. But my hand keeps pushing against it, and that's uncomfortable. That's really uncomfortable. I don't like that. I want to try it without the glove for a minute to see if that helps any. And I definitely want to have this lanyard on my wrist now. I want it nice and tight too. That actually helps without the glove. That helps a lot without the glove. But like I was afraid, definite hot spots right up here on this part of my thumb. It really helps to keep a grip on it without that glove. But you know, if you're really doing hard work, whether it's in the jungle or just in the backyard, gardening, whatever, you're probably gonna want to wear a glove so you're not stressing your hand out too much, you know? Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. So comfort and feel on this thing is not great. It looks like it's got a lot of good engineering, but it's just, I don't know, hard plastic. It's never the, I don't know. There are some, I shouldn't say that, because a lot of machetes do have hard plastic, but they're very rounded, they're very contoured, and this just has a lot of fanciness to it that you just don't need, I don't think. Normally a very family-oriented creature, here you can see a solitary Tato, alone in the woods. Look at his majesty as he sits and rests for his next adventure. We wonder what is in the mind of the Tato. Probably stealing people's food See the thorny stuff? This is just what a machete was designed to cut through and help you hack your way through. So let's do some of that. Let's see what happens. Not bad. I mean, I was in an awkward cutting position, but it slashes its way through it pretty well. Trying not to, again, not to get towards the camera too much and give myself a good angle to get some good cuts. So the light work, you know, that you expect a machete to do, just hacking, and this is maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. It does pretty well with not a lot of effort. I can't feel it going through this stuff at all. It just cuts it. Sometimes it doesn't just cut it, but it does hack its way through, even in an awkward position, which is nice to know. Now, if I was really trekking through this stuff, I would, of course, be dead on, and going through it. But, you know, it works. It does its job. And without, let's face it, cutting through an inch thick hardwood tree is probably not what you're going to be doing with this most often. So I don't have the same stresses. I don't have the same problems with my hand sliding down the blade. I should note, by the way, that I didn't have a lot of shock transference coming down my wrist like I thought I was going to, by the way. And I guess since this has a little bit of, you hear that? It does absorb some of the shock. So it was a lot more comfortable to use than I thought in that sense. So good on you. I feel like a tribal hunter coming back to the village with my kill. To feed everybody? Well, to chop it up and do more testing anyway. Yeah. Look, Stumpy gets to play. So you see this nice cedar little block here? We're gonna do some batoning into this guy. Now cedar technically is not a hard wood, but it's pretty hard wood. And it smells so good. Let me smell it. Build the closet out of you one day. So anyway, we're gonna do some batoning right through this guy, but not yet. First, I want to do some further testing upon this. So, ooh, look what I got. What I got somewhere off in the woods. Didn't even recognize. Didn't even feel it. Too tough for that. So let's get this guy back open, and let's lock it for safety's sake. Maybe. There we go. Let's move this. Let's bring our fresh kill to the Stumpington. Let's just see how many licks it takes to get to the Tootsie Roll center of this Tootsie Pop here. First of all, I don't like you, and I don't like you, and I don't like you. So that was pretty good. Now, I can't get this to sit firmly down here, so I'm going to do something insanely stupid. Because let's face it, that's what we do on this channel. Insanely stupid stuff. All right. See, we're getting a lot of bounce because we can't get the wood to sit firmly on the stump. And that's not fair test to the machete. So let's try this. That was pretty good, actually. Guarantee I'm never going to hit the same spot twice. Because my aim's not that good. Now, if I could have hit the same spot twice, maybe we would have gone through in just 2 whacks. And alibying myself and making a huge excuse, it was a little hard where I'm holding onto the handle to get this thing to land just where I wanted it. If I had swung a little bit harder and I wasn't worried about my knuckles slamming into the deck here, I probably could have done that in one shot. It probably did have the power to do that in one shot. I was cheating it a little bit because you can see really there's a little bit of a recurve in it there, but not much. And I was honestly a little afraid that I would come down and slam my fist on Stumpy, which is why, so what I should have done is put it more towards the edge and just move the camera over, I guess, to get a full-on chop. All right, so let's take this piece here and let's get rid of some of the little bits on the ends there, which it does very handily. Stop bouncing. There we go. All right, we'll get rid of those, and it's got a sharp enough blade to just, here, get on there, to just debark like a champ, even where the knot holes were. Not bad. And we've got some nice wood there, and this is pretty wet, but if we wanted to shave this to make some tinder for later, it actually does pretty well. Uncomfortable to have to hold on to it with this shape, but look what we're doing with this technical, pretend I'm making little quotes with my fingers, machete. We're actually feather sticking with this thing. That's not bad. So, you know, Gerber does a 420 HC pretty well, and it's holding its edge pretty well for all the abuse we're giving it right now. Not that we're giving it that much, but I mean, got a knot hole right there. This is some very fine little trimmings we're doing. You let this dry out in the sun, that'll start a fire very nicely for you. There we go. So if you direct your power through the belly part and you're not worried about hurt your knuckles, it'll chop right through and do a very clean cut for you. Now for the big test. They say you can baton with this son of a bitch. I don't have a secondary piece of wood available, so you know what? I'm just going to use the big old yellow hammer. And let's see what it takes to split this. And it is not wanting to go through this very, very handily. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, it is a big piece. It is a very big piece, but get Hammer of Thor on it, and look at the damage I'm doing to my little mallet. It's not, you know, maybe on a smaller piece of wood it would want to go through more easily. It just does not want to do this one very easily. Nope, I gave it too much of a challenge. Too much of a challenge for this little blade. Now, of course, we never hit metal on metal. That is not good for anything, but, nope, it just does not want to go through this cedar, which again is not considered technically a hardwood. Cedar's not a hardwood, but it doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to do it, and believe me, I am trying. It unlocked itself during our batoning procedure. And you'll notice I moved the blade a little, so we have a little extra on the outside to hit, which means I then have to basically hit on the handle here. So you're limited in size to what you can actually hit through, which is, you know, it's not a criticism of this blade, because that's how it is with any blade, you know? But it does look like we're inducing a little bit of a stress bend into the blade here, trying to do this. But we're not giving up. They say we can do this. They didn't tell us what size we could hit or not, so we're gonna keep going. Tell you what, this sure hurts my hand. All right, I'm calling it. I'm gonna get a larger, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna finish this because I really wanna see the interior. I'm gonna do it with a larger blade. That's all. It still smells fantastic. Smell it. Smell it. Now the fun part is going to be unwedging this. My Fitbit has been scoring all of this as extra steps. I've taken like 1,000 extra steps here. So I wanted this. I wanted this, honestly. I guess I was over hopeful to split this thing like, yeah, kabow. I didn't help myself by going right through a knothole here. Perhaps if no, there's the knothole on this side. Maybe if I went through that side, it would have been easier. But it's a big, heavy piece of wood for a little thing like this. So they make it look so easy in the video. You know. Then again, it does that. A little concerned that it unlocked its look and my crappy knot untied itself too. But the edge still has an edge to it, you know? We didn't lose edge doing that. Because Gerber does know how to do a 420 HC. They do. So this was not one of my most scientific tests. Now I could go cut myself up a smaller piece of log to do this with, but it's hot out here. I think we've done it. If I had to score this, if I had to rate it, I would say it's a little bit out of the meh. There are things I like about it. There are things I don't like about it. Most of what I don't like about it is in this handle here. There are things I definitely don't like about the handle. It was not as difficult as I thought it was going to be in terms of shock transference to the arm, the wrist. It's not as grippy as I would like for what they call a machete. It is not as comfortable as what I would like at all. This is a great place to put some rubber overmold right here and right here. You know, this lock coming undone, it's still locked here, but then you have all this wiggliness introduced to it. Then of course when we fold it up, by the way, we unlock it and it's still got its half stops. So now they say it's a safety feature. I feel like it's more so it's not a butterfly knot. Again, you know, legality wise. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's both. And then we can lock it up. So, you know, a little bit good. The blade is good. The blade functions. I mean, I set it up for, maybe I set it up for expecting a little bit too much, but you call it a machete, I expect it to do some stuff. You call it a kind of an outdoors or bushcraft kind of knife, I expect it to do some stuff. And my expectations might have been a little bit high. I might have given it a little bit too much of a challenge with that piece of cedar, but I just wanted it to do it. So I can't say it failed. It might have worked with a smaller piece where I had better leverage. Look at that. Look at what I did to this mallet. But so you can't say I wasn't trying. But you know, I think that we have to decide something is a knife or it is a machete and design it for that. I don't think, you know, I think this dual purpose thing is cool, but I don't think you can legitimately kind of say it's both and it's going to be great at both. I think, you know, the old adage, jack of all trades and master of none, comes to mind. Is it worth $120? I don't think so. I don't think it's a $120 tool. Not at all. Somewhere between 60 and 80, sure, maybe I could see that. But 120, definitely not. And by the way, I want to say it is only because of the support of my Patreon folks, my Patreon team, who directly contributes to support this channel every month. They are the reason I was able to pick this thing up and show it to you guys and test it out and have some fun in the woods today. So big thanks to my Patreon team and all those guys and gals that support the channel actively and help bring everyone else some cool content. Thank you. But yeah, and I would hope that, you know, it's brand new on the market. I would hope that in the coming times they bring the price down on this, because I don't see it as $120. Might even been $129. I'll have to check into it. I don't see it being that expensive. I see as novelty. I can't tell if the blade is bent a little bit or not. I don't know. Once I see it, I can't unsee it, but I don't know if it's true or not. I don't see it being worth that much. They do treat their 420HC very well, but 420HC is 420HC. We're not talking like a great higher end steel, you know? So I think once they make their money for their patent, they're gonna have to bring the price down. But now I'd love to hear what all of you guys have to say about this. Seeing how it did, seeing how it performed. Still, look, the blade, I mean, I will, to its credit, the blade still performs very nice, sharp, clean cuts. It held its edge really well. There's no rolling, there's no chipping. I don't see any deformation on this blade at all. I don't feel any problems on the blade at all. So that's pretty good. I've had a lot of knives made of better steels that did not hold an edge as well as this thing did, with just that little bit of work that we put it through. You know, especially starting off chopping down an inch diameter little tree. So what do you guys think? What are your opinions now? So, you know, I want to know, this is my first question. For those of you who weighed in on the first video with your opinions, does your opinion change now that you've seen us just put it through a little bit of a workout? Just a little bit. Or has it not changed? Has it not changed at all? Did it kind of do what you thought it would, performance-wise? Anybody who was thinking about getting it now not going to, or anybody who is not going to get it now thinking like, okay, maybe I'll pick one up. Why not? Or is there, you know, a third group who is like, you know what? It's interesting. I might get it if the price comes down, but I'm not going to pay $120-something for that thing. Let's discuss this guy. All right. So again, thank you to my Patreon folks for making this video possible for everybody with your support. I really appreciate you guys. If you want to join this cool Patreon team and help make cool videos like this happen, there's a link in the video description. But for everybody, honestly, you are supporting this channel just by watching these videos and encouraging me to go on and have me and Tato have fun in the woods. Right, Tato boy? Come here, Tato. Come here. Or not. Or don't listen to me. Wander off that way. That's what, yeah, go that way, Tato. Good boy. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. You are all absolutely awesome. And I will be back again real soon.